welcome everybody to this week's episode of Ruck Off. We saw there the Maitland 1877 club just starting off last week. What a great event it was for them. Unfortunately, it is a black day in rugby, and not for all the right reasons. There's been a bit of controversy, I guess, over the last couple of days. With us today, he hails from Singleton, coaches Merewether Carlton, coached country, and he is probably one of the best breakaways to ever come out of this NHRU competition. Probably the only breakaway where the halfback actually defended him. Stacey Sykes, how are you, Stacey?
Good, Ruff. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm top of the world. My phone's been lighting up with messages all night. Bit of conjecture, bit of controversy, as I said, just about this banning of Maitland and Merewether Carlton this week. What's all that about?
Well, yeah, it's same. We're in the same situation. Received a few calls last night in regards to the Herald article that was issued, and yeah, we're all a little bit not sure of the reason whys and the background on it, but we'd like to think that we can talk to Newcastle Under Rugby Union to get to the bottom of it. Yeah,
I guess the article you mentioned, written by Craig Kerry, I think it was, in the Herald, it mentioned it was a second grade player that in fact was wrong for you guys. It was someone coming from third grade. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Look, at the end of the day, it's a third grade player that come on, played with the club for years. In our situation, it was acknowledged that there was a bit of human error there, which can happen. He's paid his fees in full. He's played for the club for years. And we acknowledged that and reported that on the Monday morning, and they followed through with the process that they've got in place now, which is to strip the points and ban for playing this weekend.
I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. I think personally it is the wrong decision by the NHRU board. I believe it was a board decision as well in that. It's ridiculous, when clubs, they're amateur, they rely on volunteers, they rely on, supporters coming through the gate to lift money. The game you guys, for example, Hamilton versus Merewether, it's one of the biggest games in the calendar on the NHRU, and they're taking it away for a third grade indiscretion, I guess. I don't think it was even an indiscretion. As you said, it's a mistake. Merewether Carlton, I think they've got close to 200 players, or over 200 players registered. Surely there's one admin error in all those players getting registered on Rugby Link, which, to be fair, Rugby Link's not probably working the best as it should be anyway. Yeah,
true. Well, you heard rumours that there was, up to 60 breaches or around that figure in the weeks leading up, and Merewether Carlton wasn't one of them clubs, and everyone's doing their best. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone's doing any contention. I think common sense should apply in this instance, which hasn't seemed to been in this case, that we should go through the process. It's all about rugby, really, at the end of the day. We're here to play rugby. It's bush rugby. We want people playing. We should focus on that, and they address the issues as they go and use common sense, and the penalty should just be common sense.
Yeah, and I guess Maitland, I know you can't probably speak for Maitland, but Maitland doing great things, raising money for the community, guys like Don Punch and young Nate Wattina as well. And that's going to affect a club like Maitland and yourself upwards of what I'm hearing about 20 grand, which is not chump change, Stacey.
Well, exactly. And again, in the same situation, we had our first home game washed out last weekend, and we transferred out to Disneyland, and then obviously we got the Hamilton game this weekend. And looks like there's a lot of preparation going on that with food and alcohol and stuff like that, which is, for us, it's a big revenue day, and that's just been taken away from us.
Maybe the NHRU board meeting can have some of that food off you next time when they have their board meeting. Maybe you can on-sell some of that food and snacks to those guys, because they seem to be doing a good job behind closed doors. I guess, for me, it's ruined the competition, ruined the round, and we should be talking about good things about rugby, players and all this. We shouldn't be talking about this, Stacey.
Well, it is. The disappointing thing is that, exactly right. We're here to play rugby. We're here to enjoy ourselves. We've got a Colts competition at the moment that, has just kicked off, that we need to see that needed to get some traction, as well as we've got a fourth grade team waiting to play. So we've theoretically this weekend got up to nearly a full team sitting on the bench for thirds this weekend, which was, that's one of the things we should be addressing, is getting them guys to play, be in a competition, getting all our structures right, and the things like PPS and unregistered players. I know that there's some outcomes in regards to what should happen in them instances, but I think we should go through a common sense process to fine clubs and give clubs warnings, and then go through and approach the clubs, especially before any media get any idea before we do.
Well, that's another thing as well. I mean, the article was printed, I think, about 1:25 yesterday, and I believe not even, I guess you as a first grade coach weren't even aware of the sanctions yet, which I think, you know, stinks a little bit of, maybe I'll say it, it's probably a leak at board level, maybe, I'm not sure. And I just think that they've gone about it the wrong way. I know there is a safety aspect of it, but in the Merewether Carlton case, the guy's paid up. He's paid Rego, and he's been a registered member before as well. So. Correct.
You look at it's straightforward, really. It is. You know, there's nothing really to discuss. It's common sense. It just should be addressed that way. It's pretty simple, really. There's nothing more to discuss.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing that maybe they are doing an audit to retrograde some penalties on some of those breaches you mentioned as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, we want to play rugby. I mean, from a BarTV perspective, we want to broadcast the best games, and now the best games are taken away from us, which, you know, it's not good for anyone involved.
Yeah, well, that's right. And the thing is too, you speak about volunteers. We all make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? And the mistakes were never. If the mistakes were done intentionally, I think that's a different situation. But if the mistakes are done through just the pure workload of volunteers and the amount they've got on their plate, you know, and you know, even the mistakes that can be made within the governing body as well in regards to players off and on rugby link. You know, you hear there's stories on both sides. So then, long as clubs address them and get back to them straight away and admit their fault, I think that's a different situation to trying to hide what you're doing. If you get on the front foot, which the clubs do, and for us, you know, I mean, that's what we've tried to do from day one. We've just tried to buy into the PPS. We've tried to, as a club, get all of our registrations right. There's been a lot of work to get to where we are, and for one little simple error, it's just so disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Not just from a first grade perspective. I mean, you're going to lose out double, I guess. You're going to lose up to 10 points in first grade. Is that the maximum from what I can gather?
Look, I need to get that clarified. I'm under the understanding that we didn't breach last weekend. That we are not allowed to play this weekend until it's heard. Where the clubs that breached last weekend plus this weekend, that's my understanding. I'm not sure if I'm correct. With Maitland, for example, which I feel sorry for Maitland as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can talk because I've been up to Maitland. I guess I can talk vaguely on behalf of them. They're a club that's rebuilt this year. They're back. They've really forged that, you know, the fortress up at Maitland. You go there, there's a good vibe there, and this just sort of, you know, leaves a sour taste in their mouth. And they've done so well to work back to get. I mean, they looked like a top 3 contender last week. Absolutely,
and it's sad. That's all you can say. It's sad. It's a sad time. I hope that we can just work through it, and communication's the key. Communication and just But I have to admit, the last 24 hours is just. Yep, not good at all.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting back to the game, I guess, last week's game. I'm going to have a quick review of the rounds last week, and we'll start with your game, I guess. You guys, you know, you're starting slowly, but finishing off the game as well. That's something that if you were playing this week, you'd probably have to fix.
Yeah, well, it's all about continuous improvement. We've started our program off and aim to get through this first 4 weeks and improve, whether that's win or lose. We just wanted to improve every week. We think we've done that. Lake Macquarie on the weekend, they were a good side. They were big.
Yeah, some big tackles as we can see here on the footage.
And you know, some bruised bodies this week for our guys. So we got through that game, and like the 2 teams that played them prior, you know, you have to sort of hang in there. But they're going to win some games this year. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, and Blake Crichton, he's another one to come back as well. Looking forward to where you're going to slot him in.
Well, that's right. You know, we've got a long year ahead, so everyone's going to come in as they deserve their spots. And Blake's recovering from a shoulder injury, so he needs to get that time to make sure that's right. But yeah, we'll just take every week as it comes and select the best 15 every week that we think that should be on the park.
Yeah, we'll go now to the Wanderers versus Waratahs game. I know you're very avid in reviewing everyone's match. You would have taken a bit out of this. Waratahs, they look like a side that they're going to come good second half of the year as they normally do. So if they can stay close to this top 5, they're going to be trouble throughout the year.
Oh, absolutely. You look in the pre-season, you know, what the rumours of where they were going to be to what they've produced in the first 3 weeks. You're exactly right. So they've got size. They're obviously 10. Dane has got a great goal kicker, keeps them in field position, and they've got some dangerous outside backs. So Waratah, yep, they are They are a genuine, performer for this year. If injuries go their way, I think they're going to be up there in the mix in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Beaches, Hamilton out there was an affair where you'd expect Hamilton come out winners. Beaches did put 20 points on them as well, as we can see some good tries here. The Delors, they're one to watch out for. But Hamilton, they look class, and Lamont's playing reserve grade at the moment as well. So he's due to come back too.
Yeah, look, it's they've been away, them boys, apparently. So
Wise booked them trips away.
Yep. So
the season. Good on them.
Through the selection policy, that's fine. They adhere to that. But look, yeah, just look at the end of the day, Hamilton are the team to beat. Beaches have had a good start to the year. They've had some, with the Lake Macquarie split, so they've recovered well. I heard they're doing some good things out there. Their coach is doing a good job, so that's positive. Always hearing there's good vibes coming out of Southern Beaches at the moment, which is great to hear.
Yes, and Singleton went to Nelson Bay. I thought it was a game Singleton might have, done all right there, but they didn't, unfortunately. And Nelson Bay coming away with a win at the Groper Dome, so they'll be happy to get that win on the ball, the Bay. Yeah,
that was always going to be a close one, that one. The Gropers and the Bulls. We played the Bulls a few weeks ago. They don't stop. They go all day. They've got a young group. They're all local players. They're all buying into what they want to do, and they know that the road ahead is long. But they're prepared to stick it out, and good on them. I think they deserve their spot in the competition. And I was actually was thinking that the Bulls would have maybe got away with that game, but I'm thinking Bulls will return the favour in the second round against the Gropers and beat them at home for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and they've got that feel. Maitland probably 3 years ago were in a similar position to what Singleton were, and I think Singleton in a few years' time will be a threat again in the premiership here.
Absolutely.
And coming to the last game, Maitland versus Uni. We thought at BarTV it was match around, was going to be close, but Maitland 34-0 at half time. It was probably the most clinical display of structured rugby I've seen.
Yep. Again, like I said, Maitland got off to a tremendous start to the year. Again, they're disappointed like we are at the moment, so I really feel sorry for the Maitland club. They've got some new young coaches in. They've recruited some of their local guys back. What they're doing with the 1877. What I'm seeing is pretty impressive. They look like they've got good culture and the Dom Punch support. Yeah, I can only see good things coming out of Maitland at the moment. Good on them, whether it's Benny Emmett or someone behind that, but they've done really well, that club. Yeah, definitely doing really well. And Josh McCormack, he was one of the stars of the weekend, won the Dus Hundhouse Man of the Match for the game, and this is what he had to say after the match.
Well, Dus Hundhouse Man of the Match today. How's that feel to get a pork knuckle?
Yeah, it's good. A few tries out there. The boys played really well. We played a good 15-man style of rugby, which is new for Maitland, so it was good to get the win.
Yeah, definitely. You guys look very clinical out there. You look probably the best we've seen on BarTV this year.
Yeah, we're building to this week. The last few weeks have been a bit off. The last pass have been down. We haven't really played to our patterns, so it was good to the passes to stick today and score a few tries.
And what's impressive is the depth. 3-0 again today for you guys, winning the club championships.
Yeah, it's great. Probably the first time in 3 years I've had blokes coming off the bench in first grade, which is a huge plus. It showed at the back end of that game, and second grade to third grade are doing really well as well.
Yeah, definitely. And your forward play this year seems to picked up a notch. They're passing and everything different to the traditional Maitland sides.
Yeah, we're not playing our usual 10-man rugby. A few more skill drills at training and a bit of a different focus in terms of our structure. We've got a bit more direction this year under Hicko and Rhino, so it's going well.
And how important is this year to the Blacks?
Oh, this is huge for us. We've 2 years in a row we've come 7th and 8th, so this is really big for us. Hopefully improve and then build on this next year. So hopefully try and make the finals this year and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And the club looks like they're solid as well.
Yeah, we're really sticking. We're getting good numbers at training. Everyone's sticking around for a beer after the game, so hopefully we can go on from now.
All the best the rest of the year, mate.
Yes, thanks very much.
Well, we're back now, and we struggled this year for the Rams low percentage play of the week. There was plenty to choose from, I guess, but nothing really stand out until last night. We're at Merewether Carlton's ground against Wanderers, and something that almost brought a tear to my eyes. I was on the camera actually for BarTV last night. A front rower catching an intercept. He's going to say probably 100 metres out. It was about 60 out. Did well, hit the hole, boom, try. Nearly got run down, and here's the play. So that is the Rams low percentage player of the week. Unfortunately, I don't even know the name of this kid. Someone get me the name. He's won an album. So good on him. Now we're going to go.
He's a lookalike of yourself, isn't he?
Oh, he's definitely modelled himself. He's modelled himself off my
Gareth
game.
Wassick.
Quick, lateral movement. You know,
lateral
Stacey
movement.
can get across. But that was, I mean, the Colts competition, for all its distractions, it is coming along well. I think it's definitely something that's entertaining. It was a very good standard of game last night, and two of the better sides. Merewether Carlton just winning on the bell. It was an absolute nail biter.
It was a cracker.
Few hearts in the head. I had Doug Murray behind me yelling out abuse as he does, which is always good. And it's going to be a shame he's not going to be there this weekend, because we were obviously going to cover the Hamilton Merewether game. So a couple of sad things this week. Prince died and Merewether aren't playing.
Yep.
So we're going to go through these round preview. I don't know, maybe I should get slave written on my forehead like Prince. In any case, we're going to go through this round preview. Wanderers versus Bay at number 2, first match. I think Wanderers, have the class for this one. Nelson Bay much this year, and with Hertini still out, they haven't really got that strike power, Stacey. Yeah,
look, Bay are growing and improving, but you'd have to think at home, Wanderers, they got the runs on the board early in the year. It'd be hard to say that they'd be in any danger of losing this weekend. Yeah,
really setting the platform with a strong forward pack again. They're very well structured. They play off the ball a little bit and really set up that second phase. I think that's just going to be too much for Nelson Bay.
They have in that young Montini. He's playing quite well. He's very dangerous in ball in hand, and they've got some quick outside backs. The young kid Marsh, if he's playing, he's fast. So yeah, Wanderers have got a real, it looks on paper a real youthful team at the moment that's growing and evolving. But they're a good football team.
Yeah, Beaches versus Tars. This will be an interesting game too. There's 1 point separating them on the table to get into that 5th spot. Of course, Beaches having a big function next weekend too, so get on Facebook to get all those details for the Southern Beaches luncheon. But this is a match I think could tip in the favour of Beaches this early in the season.
Yeah, it's gonna be a game of the round. If the Merewether and Hamilton game's off at this stage, I would think that if I'm not doing anything Saturday, that'd be the game I'd like to go and watch. And don't know who I'd like to tip there. I think Waratah myself might just have the strike power. But Beaches performed quite well last weekend. Big close one, but I think Waratah. Yeah,
definitely. I think Dane Sherritt, he may be the difference, but I guess those three brothers Delore, they're the key.
Yeah, they are.
For this Southern Beaches side, and of course you can't go past VAR as well. Yep. He needs to have a big game. If he has a big game, they'll stick with them, and fitness might get them at the end of the day.
It'll be a good game.
Sure. It will be a good game. Singleton versus Uni up at Rugby Park, the Bullpen. This is going to be an interesting game. I think Singleton have the wood here. I think Singleton, after the last couple of weeks, as you said, they've improved each week.
Yep.
And Uni, for mine, they've been so disappointing.
Yeah, look, haven't watched too much of the university game so far. We've got them coming up later on in the round. But Singleton at home, we found them extremely hard, and like I mentioned earlier, they're growing and developing, playing for each other, young team. I think it'll be close, but Singleton Bulls will win that game.
Singleton Bulls? I'm going to go with the Bulls as well.
Yeah.
For that one. And of course, we've got Maitland versus the Roos. So Maitland versus Roos, we don't know if it's going to be on or off, but obviously Maitland were going to be the standout favourite given the form over the last couple of weeks. Strong in all grades as well. They're going to go close to winning this club championship, as well as maybe getting sort of a top 3 spot at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Given results now.
I think it's like you've got to weather the storm with the Lake Macquarie. Tim's still growing that team, so they're going to get better in the coming weeks. But
growing them, they can't get any bigger, can they? Wow.
But I think Maitland, with and even the disappointment that they've been given, both clubs have been given yesterday. If the game is on, and the start to the season, if Maitland can weather the storm in the first round, they'll run out winners and push a gap on in that second half, I think.
Yeah, I tell you what is very underrated. Maitland's forward pack, they are brutal in defence. They get up in your face and they are putting people on their back.
Yeah, no, look, they're impressive. So good on them, like we mentioned earlier. Looking forward to playing them in a few weeks' time. But yeah, they're the big improvers of the competition this year.
They certainly are, and coming to the final match, if it is going to be a match. If not, there's cable tie day, of course.
Correct.
It won't be cable tie night, cable tie day.
Start at lunchtime.
Yeah, start at lunchtime, which is where the players cable tie themselves to each other, which is an interesting concept. But Hamilton v Merewether at home, I was going to, on my top better fantasy tipping, I was going to go Merewether with head to head. I think you guys were going to be too strong for Hamilton.
Oh, well, look,
I know you don't want to put the mocker on yourself.
Yeah, look, it's we know how good a team they are. They're big and strong. They're well drilled. Bubba's had the program running for over 12 months. They can just turn the switch on. We're going in confidently, but we know we're up for a battle. So they deserve to be favourites. They're the premiers, and rightly so. So if the game's on, we'll be giving it our 100%. But we need to be on our game. If we're not on our game, they'll put us away. So and they have done many times before. So hopefully the game's on, but we're really keen to get out there and play.
On an interesting note, I've heard a couple of rumours as well. Michael Dan may be coming back towards the middle part of the season. Can you confirm that, or?
No, I can't.
It'd be good to see him back.
It would be. He's a quality player. He is a very quality player. So I would think at this stage, the conversations I've had with him is on the lines of he's just had a little baby recently with in the last month. His work is important. He's a surgeon now, and his career is the focus for him at the moment. So we'll see how the second half goes. But the word we're getting at the moment, no, we're not going to have him in our squad. Yes,
very good. And of course, you can get in the game with Top Better and all the fantasy markets for the NHRU, which will be going up live as we speak now. It's going to be a good match. We had the opportunity earlier on today to have a chat to Merewether's captain, Jay Strawn, who told us a little about his season. You're in some pretty good form. Players play a mug last weekend, which you had a good go at.
Yeah, got to work out a few dints. Actually don't know where it is. No, form's pretty good. Start of the season. Been switched around from fullback to the outside centre position. So getting the ball in my hands, which is good to see. And all the players around me playing really well. So it's hard not to when that happens.
Well, you're half-back in the rep team as well. That's got to be a bit of an uplift when you get in there. Your favourite position?
I wouldn't say it's my favourite position, but I've been thrust in there. I have played half-back throughout my career so far, so I'm looking forward to the occasion, and I love getting my hands on the ball, so getting into the ruck there and getting my hands on the ball is always good. Yeah, very good. And coming into the latter stages of your career, do you think you'll find you shifted to the forwards, mate? Hopefully I'm not in the latter stages of my career yet. I'm still young, but it's always been thrown around there by Mick Gill, especially the coach. He's always like, yeah, get ready, you're going in there, mate. Get that neck warmed up. But I don't think that would be on my radar at this stage, mate. I'm enjoying my footy out in the backs, and I'm too pretty anyway.
Yeah, very good. Too pretty for prison, maybe. As we get back, I guess, to this weekend's round, is there anything, I guess, you want to say to the NHRU, being a player, and I guess growing rugby in the region? I think this game's got to go ahead, doesn't it?
I would obviously like it to go ahead, and I would obviously like the sanction to be released. But you know what? Rules are rules. If they wish to go ahead with that, I'll respect that. And most clubs, if not all clubs, will have to respect that.
Well, personally, I think it's a ridiculous decision, and I hopefully get to come across to your ground and call the game home.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's out there, and keep updated on the social pages and obviously in the newspapers and that. If it does go ahead, we'll be down there at Townsend Oval, the home of rugby. It'll be a scorcher of a match, I can imagine.
Yeah, if not, will there be some boat racing and stuff going on there at the ground?
Not 100% sure. We did have a little function after the game this weekend, cable tie night, where we cable tie each other to each other, and you don't get to choose which is. I usually get stitched up with one of the younger fellas, but I would imagine that would still go ahead. But that's an after-match function. I'm sure if the game doesn't go ahead, we'll still be training or getting together of some sorts. Yeah.
Well, there you go. If you see a couple of Merewether Carlton players cable tied to each other at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, you know the game hasn't gone ahead. Thanks very much, Jay.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Yep. Well, that's all we can hope for. The game comes first, so thoughts are out there for Maitland and Merewether Carlton.
BarTV Sports would like to thank Top Better. Get in the game at topbetter.com.au. And Cornelia's Crump, the BarTV Sports beverage of choice. And Rams Loans for supporting the 2016 NHRU Premiership.